so much hatred. So much hatred this set has endured in comments from folks online and off. It's really, really bad, and I want to talk about it. I think that a lot of times people can get just kind of wound up by somebody popular saying something bad about something, ranting about something. It can become cool to rant about things, and folks, kind of just get into the habit of it based on what others have done. That's not the case with a lot of the feedback, a lot of the negative feedback about this set. Because I've been reading what people have written about it, and I've listened to what people have been saying about it, and it's folks coming from different backgrounds. It's not all folks just following some bandwagon that, oh, it's new, therefore it's bad. Oh, it's expensive, therefore it's bad. Nope. There's something more to it. So what exactly is going on? Why is this year's Ultimate Collector Series set from, which people usually love, Ultimate Collector Series sets, from Lego, people usually love Lego stuff. In the Star Wars line, people usually love Star Wars stuff. Why is this receiving so much hatred? Why is it why is it in such trouble? Why is it not being received well? Well, a lot of folks actually have liked this. A lot of kids I've seen in particular have looked at this and said, hey, I want that. That is awesome. But I think that the number one reason for most of the negative feedback comes down to what's on the box. And specifically that right there. And I'm not going to talk about it for a long time because folks have already noted this at great length, and you can see them in the comments on my review video for the set. It says Ultimate Collector Series on the set. And yes, it is just a badge that's printed on there, and I think it's on the back also. Yeah, back here, even smaller on that side. And it is just a badge, but that badge means something. And it means something because of history, because of what Lego has done previously in the Ultimate Collector Series, Ultimate Collectors series. They've done, really fantastic looking and very large things. Centerpieces, things that really are for collectors to appreciate. I think there's nothing wrong with putting play features into a collector set. I think that bringing down the floor for the lower end of the age range for what type of folks will enjoy the set the most is great, but you need to have something based on their history of what they've been putting that label on. You need to have something that collectors are going to appreciate of all ages, including those who are going to be playing with the stuff and including those who just want to display it. Lego is all about toys. They are toys. Whether we adults, teens, and kids who are a little bit more mature want to look at them as, higher end display items and things, they're still toys. They're based on toys. Lego is a toy company. Doesn't mean you can't appreciate things that are toys. I mean, action figures, plenty of people who are very old get into, collecting action figures and all kinds of stuff, Age really isn't what matters. It's what you want to get out of a thing. The problem with this, well, there are two problems with this, major problems, based on my own personal opinions and based on what I've gleaned from the opinions of other folks who've been critical of this set. First of all, the play features really do detract from the collectability. And that's not something that has to happen. It doesn't always happen. For instance, with these turrets here, they've got play features built into them with the spring-loaded shooters underneath, but they're pretty well hidden away. So that's really not a big deal. This Snowspeeder, which looks excellent, it's not Ultimate Collector Series Snowspeeder, but it looks great, I think. I think it's the best looking Snowspeeder that they've done. And I haven't seen anybody saying that this is a bad Snowspeeder. And it has play features built into it. It's got the spring-loaded shooters down on the bottom. And folks who really, really hate those can just leave them off, or you can leave them on and you just never see them unless you have it hanging from the ceiling or something. So those are examples of well-integrated play features. This is an example of a poorly integrated play feature that takes away from the look of the thing and the desirability of the thing. With this big old lever hanging out the back, the parts that are put in there to make it play, to make it explode, led to the thing not even looking right. So it's missing one of these. It needs to have one more of these. Why would you do that? That's not cool. And fans just don't appreciate that, especially folks who are really serious fans of the franchise. Another example is, of course, and this is one that has been repeated and harped on quite a lot, is the ion cannon, which I personally think is done really nicely on the outside for the most part, the shaping. I've seen some reviews that have really hated the shaping and the way that it is built, but I personally like it. And it is very, very round. It's very, very close to a proper sphere. I also very much like this feature here, of how it retracts back in and is able to do kind of that realistic barrel recoil look, and you're able to angle the thing up and down. The tip, though, is, I don't know what they were thinking with the little pasted on thing there, but what's really bad here is what it looks like from the back. It's terrible. It looks absolutely incomplete. It looks just like something that is in the process of being built. I've seen stuff that looks like this all the time on the insides of even Ultimate Collector Series sets. They look like this on the inside frequently, but on the outside they don't. When you're finished, you don't see that anymore. You see good stuff. This left it completely open, and I know a lot of people feel insulted by that. Feel personally offended by that Lego would leave that. Now, I'm sure that Lego internally, there's a lot of people working on a given project like this. A lot of people work on even the smallest sets, but I'm sure that there are reasons behind this. I'm sure that if you got together the people in the same room who were responsible for the decisions to come to something like this and to actually release something like this, they would understand why, and they would be able to explain it. And it would make sense with some form of logic of, price and, the display angles and the kind of balance between the play value and the kind of targeting towards younger kids and the positioning of this in the market, blah, blah, blah. Ultimately, the end result is what matters. And sometimes it's very difficult for multiple people working together on a project to take a step back and to look at something with fresh eyes and just see that that's not okay and that's really not okay. Just shouldn't have been done. Which brings me to the bigger and more important and most important point of all with respect to the entire set. This is not an Ultimate Collector Series set. It is very clearly designed in every single aspect as a playset. And I think that is perfectly fine. I think that Lego releasing a big, expensive set for play, specifically for younger kids especially, even at an more expensive price point, there are plenty of adults out there who will buy expensive toys for their kids. Not just Lego, there's all kinds of stuff. Gaming consoles. There are kids who have one of every game console. Not just the super rich. I mean, there are situations out there, and lots of them, where kids get lots of stuff. Kids get lots of clothes. The price of this set would easily be covered by, one single shopping trip for clothes, for vanity's sake, for many, many kids. It's just the way it is. And, not everybody has that ability, but I think Lego making a pure play set like this, basically like this, without the errors in it, I think is perfectly fine. However, putting that Ultimate Collector Series label on the box is not okay, because it's not an Ultimate Collector Series set. It's just a big play set. And I think that alone just sets the tone completely wrong for the whole thing. Beyond the fact that this is clearly a play set and doesn't belong in the Ultimate Collector Series, beyond that, as a play set, is it complete? Is this really a battle Is this a battle scene on Hoth? Problem is, it's not. They call it Assault on Hoth, and yeah, every reviewer has made fun of the fact that it's one speeder, two snow troopers. Yeah, two snow troopers on a snow speeder. And oh yeah, they also have this really, really oversized, for some reason, E-Web blaster. That's what's assaulting the base. It's funny to make fun of that, but it really says a lot. That is actually important, because let's, again, just leave off the Ultimate Collector Series label, call this what it is, a big playset. Where's the play value for the kids? Well, they got the guns. Cool. You got the guns, you got the turrets, you got the things that you can shoot, you've got the doors that you can open and close, you can load people up inside of this, you can have this thing stored on the inside, you can do maintenance on it, you can fly it out and everybody has to go, ducking for cover as you fly the snow speeder out, and you can shoot from this and you can aim this and you can shoot from that. But what are you shooting at? Even as a playset. Unfortunately, and I hate to admit this, because I like what Lego does, and I understand, having been through product development myself as a career, I understand the constraints and how there are a lot of things that go into developing a product for public use. But ultimately, even giving this the maximum benefit of the doubt, the maximum that I can, and respecting Lego's decisions in general, as I do, respecting Lego's designers, as I do, probably more than most people do, having really understood what they go through in many ways, still, as a playset, this is not complete, because you don't have two sides. Where is the assaulters on Hoth? You need to have an entire other playset. They don't even have that on the market at this point. They don't have any of the other stuff to go with this. So even if you were rich and you were able to buy another not UCS set that focused on the Imperial side, they don't even have that available to complete the scene. So ultimately, with the UCS label on it, doesn't work. With the UCS label off it, still doesn't work as an Assault on Hoth. Ignore the name then. Ignore the name Assault on Hoth. Let's just call it Hoth Echo Base Mega Playset. Okay, now we're moving somewhere. Still, I am completely dissatisfied with the lack of one of these lobes. I'll let that go. This, very good. Store it inside of there. Cool. Trench, very good. Lots of people, good, although some of the people are a little bit boring, especially given that two pilots that are named characters have the exact same face, and Torin here doesn't look like Torin, so that's kind of messed up. This E-Web blaster is insanely huge for some reason. This is cool. This is cool. This, I'll forget about the back for now, but what have we got going for our base? We've got perimeter defense. This is the base itself. It's a door and a spot to put a turret. Well, you can move one of these turrets up there and then you lose some of your trench. The base itself features a tiny little control area. It features a Tauntaun feeding pen, which is fine, but you could have done that with just a handful of pieces. It has this crane that you can move around for lifting up some crates, but I feel like that's not the greatest use of pieces. It would have been nicer to take all this stuff and really minimize the Tauntaun pen as much as possible and actually have a wall here on the side. Over here, there's a wall, kind of. And then there's this, the Wampa Cave. First of all, the Wampa Cave doesn't belong here. Secondly, it doesn't really contribute to this as a playset. The Wampa doesn't really contribute to the base as a playset. I think that the Wampa Cave as a set of its own made sense. You get the Wampa, you get the cave, you get Luke Skywalker, you get to do a rescue. But they've already done that set in the past. Maybe they weren't able to re-release it at this time, with the budgets and the planning and all that and all the stuff that goes into product development. Okay, but I think that including this stuff and including the budget for this stuff takes away from the value of this as an Echo Base playset. So also this stuff over here, I just feel like they should have done more for Echo Base, making it not the same as the previous Echo Base set, making it have the trench, which does help out a lot, but actually enclosing it a lot more. If you're going to have this, take a few pieces out of the base, leave out some of the single lever explosion function and let kids just do that, because kids have been doing that forever and it's fine. And do it proper with 4 of these things. Maybe include some other small vehicles like a speeder or something else that would be useful for attacks. The Tauntauns, not really that useful for kids to play with in the context of Hoth. It's not really a battle creature. It's a scouting thing. And ultimately, everything that I'm saying just boils down to people are right. The criticism is right. Some of it, I think, is completely out of hand. I think, there is, of course, the internet effect, where folks start to get negative and they get really negative and they really take things too far. That always happens. It's because of the internet and it's anonymous and people are just typing behind computers, blah blah blah. But there's a lot of, like I said, legitimate negative feedback, and I do have to agree with much of it. I like many of the things done in this set. Really like this. I think this is well done, except for the anti-vehicle turret here. I think that including an action feature in it is fine. This big old bulk right here didn't even bug me that much with the 6-shooter, because it is cool to be able to shoot this thing, but I wish that it did look more like the proper thing with more of a build behind here. That looks really cool, but needed just, I guess in the context of a playset, that's okay, but all the colors from the back is never okay unless there's going to be something that can, more permanently hide that ugliness there. So there you have it. I agree with the negative feedback, with much of it. I don't think that this is a trash set. I think that it has a lot of good little things, but bringing it together as one play set, it's not very successful. And definitely as an Ultimate Collector's Series set, it just should not have existed. I think that it should not have taken up that slot. I think that it was a bad choice by long committee over a long period of time. A lot of folks have pointed out the fact that in the instruction manual for this thing, they've got a lot of designer interviews and such, and there's one point where they actually talk about bringing in the walker set. I forget exactly where it was, but they suggest that you bring in the walker and have an attack. We wanted to bring back the Wampa in its lair and add interior to the base. We didn't add much interior to the base. Focusing on the Rebel base, sure. The Imperial presence in this set is quite light. Okay, I admit that. A new AT-AT just came out last year, so you can still replay the whole battle in style. Oops. Yeah, AT-AT has already been discontinued. So that just shows you that this has been designed over a long period of time. It's probably been in cold storage, maybe not cold storage, but not on the table. It's been on the floor. It's probably been, back and forth a number of times. Bureaucracy, I think, got the worst of this one, and I'm sorry to see it. I'm sorry to see LEGO make such a big mistake, and hope that they'll learn from this and not take it too hard and just get the most positive things out of it and understand a little bit better when you invest this much into a project, and especially if you put a label onto a project that people already have an emotional connection to, and something that already has history, you need to have at least one additional step of oversight, bringing in some fresh faces, some folks who have not been close to the project, who would understand what they see, but can look at it without the emotional attachment to all the decisions that have gone into creating what it is. Because I guarantee you take any 10 random Lego and Star Wars fans, you show them the Ultimate Collector Series line, just pictures of the sets, with something for scale so they understand the size of what's been done up to that point. And then you show them this and they'll say, well, no. They would have said, well, no. So I think that Lego needs to get some of that, well, no, or, well, yes, some just additional level of oversight involved with things like this. That's it for my thoughts. A lot of you have already shared your thoughts, your opinions about this set on my review video, and I very much appreciate that. Lots and lots of comments and folks just being very, very reasonable about it. Lots of folks dislike the thing, but just being calm and just human about it, not doing the internet thing. So I'm really proud of you viewers, for being just really cool people and being able to be negative and to dissent without being ugly about it. And that's been cool. But if you have anything else that you'd like to say based on more subjective thoughts, or anything deeper about directions that Lego is going and how this came about, feel free to comment down below. Comment section is open as always, and I'm always open to different viewpoints and different feedback. So thanks for watching this one. I'll be talking to you again very soon.